Do you see anything yet?
Let me hit reload. I don't see anything yet.
Here goes the music.
Fuzzy Pup.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ain't You a Peach? As y'all can tell, I have the awesome leprechaun with me tonight. We're just gonna have a little leaf free for all.
A free for all. Talk about this,
Free
talk
for
about that, and
all.
anything else that comes up in between.
Yep. So, how's your weekend been?
It hasn't been badly at all. I got to fill in for Mike this morning, and that's always a blast. You know me, any time on air is great time, so I'll gladly take airtime everywhere all the time. Had a blast, played some great tunes, chit chatted with some bods in the chat room for a while, and feel free to pop over into the chat room over here in YouTube's guys. We be looking for you over yonder. I'm in there now. Look, I can even say hello. Hello.
So, anything
Yay.
interesting happened this weekend?
Let's see. What has been the nifty spiffy? Well, this weekend, no. Now, during the week, Thursday, we had a big vote in the Senate here. Well, actually, the
On the
House.
guns?
No, that one they haven't gotten to yet. They've pre-filed some motions on firearms. I've been doing searches and haven't really come up. Everything I've come up with is like people talking about it on Facebook or Twitter. I can't find it in the actual, where somebody real, like in the legislature.
Right.
Um, I've seen a bunch of stuff from last year and the year before, and they're not really being super great. Here's one: an act relating to arms making an appropriation therefore assault weapons, large capacity ammunition feeding devices. Create a new section of Kentucky KRS, which is Kentucky something services. I'm not sure. Kentucky Regulatory Services or something. Possession to criminalize possession and transfer of large magazines, possession unregistered assault weapons, and acquire the owner's registration of assault weapons, to store the weapons in a manner which renders them inoperable or to unauthorized users.
Right.
Yeah, see, this is what's the bill? It's bill request. See, it hasn't gone through yet. They're only talking about it. It's 354 on this one. I'm trying to check a date. I've heard that's what they've been talking about. The last date I see on this is from last year, December of 19. But
Huh.
I had heard that there was a bunch pre-filed. Here's one for 2020: pre-filed bill request. I like when they let you search for pre-files. And let's see, assault weapons. Let's try that. Assault without the pepper. Weapons of
That's
wins.
good though. I like pepper.
Pepper is good for you. Yeah. See, and I don't have anything under the pending. I just have that one from last year where they're trying to make it illegal to have them unless you register them. Now, how many people are going to say, hey, by the way, I have this? Or how many people are going to say, gee, I had all of these really spiffy, nifty toys, but while we were crossing the Mississippi River in Arizona at that one time, the boat capsized and everything sunk to the bottom. I'm sure it's at least, 50 or 60,000 fathom deep trench that they all fell into. I don't know. The Marianas Trench ate them there in Arizona. I have nothing to do with it.
Right.
So, I mean,
I don't know why they can't just leave the guns alone.
well, primarily the reason is if you get enough leftists running everything, they want you disarmed because take Bernie Sanders. Look at Venezuela. You know, a armed populace can dictate what their government will do, whereas an unarmed populace has no recourse but to comply with the wishes of the authorities, telling them you
Ding,
will,
ding, ding,
you
ding,
will
ding,
not.
ding, ding. Isn't that what the Constitution was for?
Precisely. You mean that antiquated document that's sitting in Philadelphia under, 3 feet of glass? Precisely.
I mean, they're pointing out the obvious. They're pointing out the reason behind it. And then they're trying to argue against it. Excuse me. It was put there for a reason.
To keep them in check. Exactly. The government has gotten a whole lot bigger than it was ever intended. Its main intent: take care of your borders, take care of the army, unfortunately, collect taxes to pay for those programs that it had. And everything else was left to the states. States were
Yeah.
supposed to control their own. Hey, if you want to work here, you have to give us X number of dollars a year to work here. Okay, fine. I don't want to work here. I'll go, state X. They're not charging me that fee. That's what the states' rights were. The federal rights are kind of an umbrella. Here's what we're going to take care of. You guys handle everything else. But does it work that way? No. It's much easier for the feds and those running it, are quote unquote, I love air quotes. Where am I on camera? There we are. Air quotes on camera. Keep America. Good thing it's not a red one. You get schmacked. Yeah, that's one of
Yeah,
them
speaking of the
racist
year of the old man, I think they said he was like in his late
80s.
his early was it 80? That his hat didn't even say it wasn't even one of these. It was just a red hat.
It said make 50 great again, as in type of age. And yeah, he got beat up.
It's
The
ridiculous.
tolerant left. The left is so tolerant and inclusive as long as you're gay, lesbian, I don't know, one of the other 187 different genders that they are.
The alphabet crew.
It is. It's crazy. And they're teaching our kids that it's honky dory. The kids are growing up with a school system that is indoctrinating them to their agenda. And parents are hunky dory with it. Hey, yes, please keep my kid. I'll give him to you at 6 o'clock in the morning. Please don't send him home until 6 at night. Me and the husband, or me and the wife, or me and the husband are working, or we have 17 jobs. I can't afford this. I can't afford that. Please help me. Right. It doesn't mean it's kosher. But by the same token, when I was growing up, you'd go down and get a loaf of bread for a quarter. I buy the little mini loaves now for $1, the half loaves,
Mm.
and they still turn into penicillin before I ever finish them. But by the same token, people weren't making, $15 an hour to, do you want fries with that, or would you like a McApple?
Yeah,
You can't do it.
it's just ridiculous. They don't even teach to me what should be considered as truthful history. They're changing it now.
Well, they have to
They're
make it politically correct.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to
And
be
and
how
sex
they want it to
education
be.
sex education isn't not how to get pregnant anymore like it was when we were growing up, more to understand how your body works, and your female time and all that kind of stuff, and safe sex. It's how to
Yeah, but that
have
wasn't until
safe
ninth grade.
gay and
Now they're doing
lesbian
it at eight
sex.
years old. Here's anal lube and how to do that. Yeah,
Thank
no.
you. They I'm glad my kids are not in school anymore. I worry about my grandkids because they're in that situation now. But yeah, it's just like I don't know if you listened to the bells today, right?
Yeah,
And they were talking
definitely.
about the school lunches. They think they can tell you what you can feed your child and everything else. I mean, go back to teaching. That is your job. Teach history.
Teach
Teach
facts,
truthful
not teach.
history.
Teach facts, don't teach feelings. Oh,
Yeah,
this was
and get rid of
bad. We
the
can't tell
stupid
you about
core.
that because that wasn't good.
Yeah, and the core math. I mean, seriously,
I
have
could
you seen
probably
that?
pass Common Core math nowadays. Let's see, one and
Mm-mm.
one is 27. Well, how'd you get 27? Well, I went down to the corner and we shot dice with Billy, Bobby, and Sam. And then on the way back, I got in a card game with.
I gotta find this video. It's really funny.
But what's looks got to do with it? You said it was a video.
Because it's really it's just hilarious because, well, you'll see in a second. Hang on, I just got to get it up real quick. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, I even had it prepared.
Oh
Get
man,
back over. Where was I in
here it
the?
is. Okay, let's watch this video. Oh, come on. Seriously.
We got Rocky in the
There
chat
it is.
room. Hi,
There it is.
Rocky. Hi, Peachy. No, who's that? It's Rocky. That's ain't you, Peach. That's us. That's you talking, not Peach. Sorry.
Yeah, that was me.
So it looks like just Rocky's in there. Hi, honey.
Okay. Is it going to play? Seriously? I have no speed tonight at all.
You have no who tonight?
No, like internet speed. This is
Uh oh.
not very good. Ah, why is it doing that?
Working on it.
Why? Hmm?
So let's see. You need to get a can of that internet boost.
I need something. That's pretty bad. Can't even get the stupid thing to play.
And
And
it
it's
was
not
going
on
to.
YouTube. It's only on Facebook, which makes it even worse.
No, 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 no.
Anyway, it's
Slow and
uh,
easy always wins the race.
yeah, I know. But it's a video. Basically, the person works out the problem in about 30 seconds or so, and goes and makes coffee and all that kind
Of
of
course not.
stuff. Huh?
No, Rocky was saying that fast isn't always a good thing, but then she wouldn't know anything about that specifically. From what I understand, those records are sealed. Is that what you're implying?
It's not gonna play, is it?
I don't know. That was pretty good. You must have been talking to yourself before you said it wasn't going to play.
Yeah, it's not gonna play. Oh, great. And now it won't stop sharing. There it goes. Anyway, the person works out the problem. the teacher is on
And
the
there it is.
other screen working out the problem Common Core. The person goes and makes coffee. They go out in their yard and do a little this, that, and the other. Come back in. They're still working on the problem.
Thank
Meanwhile,
goodness.
yeah, we're talking. How long was that video? Let's see. 3 minutes. So it took them 3 minutes to work out a problem that took 30 seconds for her to work out. I
Now, do
mean,
we get to use a calculator on this 30-second
oh no,
problem
no, 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 no,
or
no. No, they use this big box, and then you have your problem in it, and you have to work out the problem across the top and the bottom, and then you have to add it all over here. And I mean, it's a bunch of crap,
well,
should
no,
we
that's the
say.
answer that you get. Well, at least if I was doing it, that's the answer that you
Well,
would.
the simple problem is 35 times 12.
35 times 12. 42.
35 times 12. That
The
is the
answer is
problem.
42.
And the person works it out on paper, and yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I know for my son it caused a lot of issues. He could not he could pass everything else with A's and B's. He could not pass the math. Doesn't matter
Hey,
what we
some
did.
of us are like that. I'm mathematically challenged
Oh
from
no.
everything I understand from Dylan and Stephen. The AI is mathematically challenged. So there are quite a few of us that have that gene missing from our,
No,
you
he's
know,
he's not. That's the problem. He would have looked at that problem and told you what the answer was. Like that. No thought about it.
he does it
Looked
all
at
in
it.
his head, but as far as
But
showing it
then
on
they
paper,
go,
that's a horse of another color.
no, you have to show us how you got that answer. I don't know. I just looked at it and that's the answer. Well, you must have
Scrubia.
copied. You must have cheated. Yeah. He finally just threw his hands up and said, screw it. I'm done. I can't, I'm not doing this anymore. Yeah. Totally ridiculous. Anyway,
That is
yeah,
funny.
they need to go back to basics. They need to go back to regular math. They need to go back to truthful history.
Well, see,
And
and even the squirrely math started with me. What the hell did they call it in those days? New math? Don't ask
I
me.
heard about new math, but is that not core math? Or
No, Common Core is that's where even if you're wrong, as long as you can show how you came up with the wrong answer, you're right according to Common Core. I don't really. I mean, I'm terrible at math now, probably because I did try that new math crap. Everybody else got it. I'm just, kind of like dropped on my head twice, and what can I say? I'm just not a mathematician.
I was in school, like we're talking regular school. I hated math. I don't think it was that I probably couldn't have learned it if I had honestly put the effort towards trying, but I was scared of it, I guess. Because I was fine with adding and subtracting and dividing and all that. But then when you started getting to the letters and this by this,
Algebra kind of gave you headaches and hemorrhoids, did it?
yeah,
Now,
well, it
I never
really
got a good handle on algebra until I was in college, and I had one professor that finally it clicked, and when it did, it was like, duh, geez,
that
that's
was
all it
me.
was, and it was like super simple.
That
Now
was
that
me.
was 2 weeks and a month and a half ago, so X right now means times. I don't know.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
all I remember.
for me, I was 13 years out of high school and decided that I wanted to attempt to do college. Uh, I did the CPT,
The
CPE
club
or something.
test,
Yeah, whatever the test is to see what level you're at on your
club
grammar
test,
and your math. Basically failed the math. Um,
naturally.
I had to take the 98, 99 math classes, which is the ninth grade algebra. And like you, I had a teacher that she would put one way up on the board and then she would put another way up on the board. And she'd say, if you can't get it this way, try it this way. Which meaning flip some of the stuff around as long as it was still in the same brackets or
Sequence, yeah.
right. And she was the one that taught me the uh what is it? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
I
You
have
know,
heard that, but I don't really see parentheses.
parentheses, exponents, uh, multiplication, division, adding, or yeah, adding and subtracting. So if
There
you
you
do
go.
it, you have to do it in that order. And I ended up passing those classes with A's. And
Oh,
from
cool.
then on, I just ran with it because it's all a step. Each different class, it's the same math,
Right.
just got a new step added to it. And I was so terrified that I was going to forget one of the new steps, and all that. So I didn't want to take a break in between.
Right.
So I ran with it, and I ended up with 2 extra credits that ended up going into my extra instead of my math credits. And when they started sending him home with the core stuff, I'd look at it and go, "Oh, that's easy. You just, And he'd look at me and go, "Nope, that's not how you do it."
It just didn't quite work the way it used to anymore.
It didn't add up the same, even though I always got the same deadgum answer. So yeah, it was he was in tutoring in the morning.
Right.
He would go to school early. He would stay after school and do more tutoring. It
But
really
when
didn't
it
matter what
clicks
we
like
did.
that, it's just so easy to tell everybody else. It's like, look, here it is. It's right here. It's just
Hmm.
boom. And then
Hmm.
you get dummies like me that go, huh?
Yeah, my favorite was I took a class called Earth Algebra,
Earth
and it
algebra.
Earth Algebra.
Okay,
It,
so this rock was bigger than this rock, and no what?
mm-mm. Things like, okay, so when someone
No,
dies,
queso is something the Mexican restaurant has. It's a
no.
dip.
So someone dies and the coroner comes in. You always wonder how they can tell how long someone's been dead, and it's by their body temperature. And it taught things like, how they calculate the body temperature, how many feet or so the sea comes in within such and such time period, things like that, things that you actually use
Right, physical,
that math for.
physical math. Yeah,
It was very interesting. Because, I mean, of course, how many of us use, other than adding and subtracting and dividing and all that kind of stuff, who actually uses algebra on a day? I mean, I'm sure there are some jobs out there that do,
yeah. Well,
but if
like
you don't
people
have
like
one of those,
Cows, he's a surveyor. I'm sure he
right?
uses algebra quite
See,
frequently. Somebody reading blueprints for building a building. Yeah,
exactly.
they're using it for us.
But
Yet
the
General
average person,
Yehu's. You want fries with that? Yeah, no.
right? So it's kind of like a foreign language. If you don't use it, you kind of lose it.
Okay, that's like with
I can do
anything.
basic algebra still, but a lot of the other stuff, the formulas are what you're going by, and if you don't know what you can't remember the formula for it, then hmm,
You're pretty
you
much
know,
SOL, up a well-known
right?
tributary without the proper means of propulsion.
Hmm. So I got it out of the way. It's done, and I passed all of my math classes with A's and B's, and but yeah, it just they've made it so hard that kids can't they can't even get to that point.
Right.
which is totally, totally screwed up. It's wrong on so many various different levels. So,
It shouldn't be as hard as they make it, but
yeah.
it is.
I think they should teach things in school now that are like the Constitution. They should have to teach that in school. Like
Would be
literally
novel.
teach it.
We used to have civics classes where we talked about
I
this
don't think
branch
they
of
do
government
anymore.
did that. This branch of government does this. This is responsible for that.
I'm
Hmm,
just
but
shocked at how many people don't know what, you know, A, what our government is. It is not a democracy. Oh,
no,
God, I just want to scream. It's like, really? But,
we are
between,
a constitutional republic, though.
yes, exactly. Um, that and the fact that they don't know the three branches, they don't
Oh,
know,
three? I mean,
they,
there's only three.
they don't know who, if something happened to Trump and something happened to Pence, who exactly will run our country?
Miss Fixident.
Yeah. Scary thought, right?
She is number three.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, hey, Yellowstone could go off. We could get lucky. I
I
don't think
know,
we will,
right?
but it could. We could
Yeah,
get hit
I
by a
just,
meteorite, maybe. Come on, asteroid.
I know. Oh God, if something like that ever really did happen, and she ended up being our president, end of the world, please take me. Oh my
I
gosh.
don't think I don't think it'll get to be that bad, unfortunately. Yeah.
No.
Although I don't
Oh,
understand, speaking of politics, I don't understand how people go to Washington instead. Well, I mean, I know why, but I don't understand how. They stay for 30, 40 years, 50 years. I went in when I was 26. I'm 97 now. I guess I'll have to leave. You know,
answer me this. If they had a normal job, like most Americans do, what would have happened to them when they hit 60 something?
see ya. Hasta luego.
Here's your
Buenos noches.
watch. See you down the road.
Hey, I've got a great idea. I saw it, and it's not an original idea for me. Somebody had it posted online. I saw it. I guess it was one of those memes or whatever. And I thought it was absolutely fire trucking brilliant. How about if we pay everybody in Congress $15 an hour?
Yeah, I've seen that too, and I agree.
That
They
would be
make way
great.
too much money, and our military people make way less. I
Okay.
mean,
They make a look at a little Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, but a little ding. I hit the sounder, but you couldn't hear it. There she is, says
uh-uh.
AOC. Yeah, didn't hear it. Um, she gets 100. Was it 164,000 or 174,000 a year? I mean, it's this close to 200K. My
So
God.
she's almost by now at least
And
up to
then
half a million dollars
Netflix
in
gave her
her
10
past.
mil for her documentary. What was it? My bootstraps or my shoelaces or whatever it was. She did the documentary for them on, or was going to do. They gave her 10 mil for some kind of
Wow.
documentary. Don't you notice her clothes have improved immensely?
To me, it's like they go in broke people and they come out multimillionaires,
Well, they
and
do.
that is not how our government was originally set up.
No, not at all. I would like to see them, and it won't really help a lot because although they're in the figurehead slot, it's the people running the offices that they step into. They don't walk in and go all of a sudden, here, let's set up this office. The office has been there and running since,
Hmm.
time immemorial. Those people come in, go out, whoever's sitting in the chair at the head of the table, they change or not.
You know, I would even settle for $20 an hour and term limits.
Oh, it has to
You're
be term
allowed this
limits.
many years in, and then adios, new
Two.
people come in.
You get two shots. After
To
two,
me,
go away.
well, to me, it's like, if you really want to change this world, if you really believe in what you want to get into politics for, then it would be worth it. It would be worth it to sacrifice your time and energy for a measly $15 or $20 an hour for a couple of years to get in there and try and make as many changes as you can.
It'd be just like National Guard. If you're working, say you're working at Kroger's and you get called to deploy or to do your weekend duty or whatever, you go do your duty, you come right back to your Kroger job, just like, you were on vacation or whatever. Should be the same for Congress. Whatever you were doing before you left, go back and do it after the
Yep.
fact.
Unless you're the Obamas, who both didn't they both lose their lawyer license?
Mm, the Clintons have.
I could have swore the Obamas did too. Both of them were. They caught one or both of them doing some illegal shit. But I'm
Well,
not
not
100% sure on that.
frequently, but King Obama never got. His was the only presidency that had no uh, incidents of questionable activity. I
I
guess you don't
call
count when he
bullshit.
called the cops stupid or when they ran arms to Mexico or when Hillary sold guns in Benghazi. But I mean, other than those little trivial, inconsequential, instances, no, Bam Bam's reign was perfect.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I tend to say different. Like, what about that big, huge pallet of money that was miraculously sent to where?
Oh, I ran. Ba-da-dum, boom, boom.
For what?
So they can have money to pay for their terrorist, organizations all
Exactly.
over the world. It takes
Hmm.
cash, baby. You don't go to your local drug dealer with your ATM card and say, "Here, swipe this, brother. I'll take, 10 pounds." It's
I
crazy.
mean, I know not every president is perfect. I mean, me myself, one of my favorite presidents was always Reagan. Um, I liked the Bushes until I found out some of the dirty dealings that they were also involved in. But Reagan was one of my favorite, which was actually part of the reason that I voted for Trump. Because to me he reminded me a lot of Reagan. Not only the fact that he was basically a civilian, he was not a career politician. He was,
Correct.
he was a civilian coming in. He said what it was on his mind. He didn't care what you thought.
That's
You
just
know.
that's what perturbed everybody. They're taking his words from, 10, 15 years ago or whenever and going, "Oh my God, that's so not president." These yahoos that are running the place think they are the French aristocrats of,
But it's okay
uh,
for them to walk
Marie's
around.
time,
It's
and then
okay
they
for them
run
to walk
around with
around with videos
guillotines.
saying, "We're going to impeach. We're going to impeach." Fuck the president. I mean,
Yeah, they
seriously.
are fond of the MFer. Impeach the MFer. Yeah, oh,
I
Maxine
mean, come
University.
on. Seriously, you wanna call him out? You better call yourself out first.
Well,
You know?
no, that would, in my opinion, everything that they are accusing Trump of doing. You colluded with the Russians. You did this. You're abusing your power. You're this. You're that. It's called projection.
Mhm.
It's your actions, but you're going, "I'm doing this. You have to be doing that."
Mhm.
No, not necessarily. Just because you're doing it doesn't mean I'm doing it.
You know,
But that's what they try to
there's a
portray.
saying in relationships that if 9 out of 10 times if your spouse is accusing you of cheating and you're not cheating, it's his guilty
Guess what?
conscience.
Somebody is.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be accusing you.
And I look at it the same way with them, accusing him left and right of all this stuff. They're the ones that are doing it, not him.
Hmm.
They're trying to set him up to take the fall for it, but yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
just
they are the ones doing it.
it's out of control. We need to get something done about it. We need to get something done about the latchkey kids, or not latchkey kids. What are the anchor babies? Yeah, the anchor babies. Latchkey kids would be good too because they wouldn't
Yeah,
have
anchor
any.
babies. That
Yeah.
I think Trump is trying to adjust that line so that just because you pop a rat doesn't make him an automatic citizen unless you have, one of the two
Hmm.
is a citizen, which is fine.
Well,
I don't see anything wrong with that.
that's the way most countries are, with the exception of what I found out when I looked it up before. I forgot how many countries there are, and most of them are South America. Um, Everybody else, you have to, if I was to say I was to go to Ireland and I wanted to claim citizenship there, okay, I wasn't
Well, you
born
can
there.
as long as you're born
No,
there or renounce your
I'm not sure if it's
American
Ireland or
citizenship
what.
and apply.
There's one country, not most of them really, they give you a hard time trying to become a citizen. They'll let you come over there and live and work, but they won't let you own property or anything else. You cannot
Mexico
become
won't
a
let you own
citizen.
property unless you have.
The only way that a lot of them will let you become even a citizen of their country is you have to show your lineage, tracing someone back to someone who actually lived there,
Right.
a great grandma or something like that. I mean, it's hard in a lot of places to become a
I mean,
citizen
you,
in
you
that
can't
country.
have one bite worth of, or one bit worth of lineage, like Pocahontas. She had, what is it, 1/270th or 1/2400th.
I know, and see, here I am. I'm actually my great my grandfather, sorry, was full blooded. My great grandfather, my dad's dad, is actually on the Baker rolls, like for living on the Oklahoma reservations.
Right.
My grandfather was born on a reservation. So we're actually in the process of getting our Cherokee card.
Oh,
But
cool.
yeah, it kind of irritates me. People go around saying, I'm Indian, I'm Indian. Everybody claims that they're Indian. Prove it. Don't
Well,
just say
now
it, prove it.
growing up, my whole life, growing up, ever from knee high to a grasshopper until in my 50s ish, maybe, yeah, at least in my 50s, 40s, 50s. I always thought I was part Indian. I finally did one of those ancestry DNA tests. Well, I'm Iberian Peninsula. I'm Scottish. I'm Irish. I ain't no Injun.
I am a Heinz 57, but I am able to trace my family to my Indian heritage by birth certificate. Um,
That's so cool. I'm envious. That's really really cool.
but on my dad's mom is German.
Hmm.
Her family. She's not. She wasn't born in Germany, but I think her great grandparents or great great grandparents were born in Germany.
Right.
And then my mother's side of the family, they're all from Ireland and Wales. Well, but
Wales
so
or
I
Welsh? There's.
Wales, isn't that next to Ireland?
Hmm. Welsh.
So I am technically Irish, Welsh, German, Cherokee. So I'm a Heinz 57, but I am able to prove my lineage. So
See, now that's a good thing. That's better than a lot of bodies can do.
yeah,
After having mine checked, they went, "Oh, no, 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 no Indian there." So that's
yeah.
cool.
I
And I'm still
actually,
trying to. I've looked at maps. I've seen the Iberian Peninsula, but what in
where is
the fire
Iberia?
truck does that mean that you're from the Iberian Peninsula? Okay, what in the?
Yeah.
I have
So
no clue
I
exactly
mean,
what. Anybody out
I,
there
I
know what
got
an Iberian?
I
I'm an
got really
Iberian.
interested in doing my family tree at one time. So I actually did. I haven't done the DNA thing, but I did do a tree on Ancestor.
Well,
com.
as far as I know, Ancestry doesn't um, keep or sell their DNA samples. They probably do, but they just don't
Oh, yeah, I
advertise
think
it.
they all lie.
Whereas 23andMe definitely, once you send them, they have a piece of you that they can do with whatever. If they want to clone you, they can. It's
Yeah.
they own that DNA sample
So,
autograph.
question: did you happen to run into any brothers and sisters that you didn't know about?
You know, here's a good one for you. I have a half brother in Tennessee that I haven't met yet. I mean,
And
we
you
talked on
found?
Messenger. Yeah,
How
I
did you
found him
find him?
through Ancestry, through DNA.
So you did. Okay. See, because I've heard a lot of stories about
And
people
I actually have
doing
two.
that.
I've talked to one online, and I think we might have talked on the phone, I think.
Yeah, I've heard
FCRS.
a
I
lot
don't
of
know if we
people
talked
doing
on the phone. I'm
that.
pretty sure we have. But then I also have another one, half brother, his brother, that I haven't met yet or talked to yet, but I will.
I think it would be interesting. I would like to do it, but I've always been kind of hesitant because of that one reason with the fact that they get your DNA and
Well, like I say, as far as I know, Ancestry is the most legitimate with it, or the least harmful with your DNA, to the best of my knowledge. And I could be way wrong,
right.
but I do, from everything I've heard, 23andMe keeps your DNA.
Mm.
Theirs after
See,
that.
that's kind of.
Here's right. Rocky says she's afraid to share her DNA.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, everything. Equifax got zinged, and they got my, financial information when
Hmm.
Equifax got breached. And who was it? Just the other day, somebody. It's interesting though, but I still. Oh, try the Ancestry. I feel safe with them. It was fun. I met cousins that played with me when not, you know, in that way, but I mean
Hmm.
interacted as children
Hmm.
when I was
Tell
3.
us
And
more, please.
yeah, I wish I couldn't tell you what I did yesterday, let alone when I was 3. What happened 60 years ago? No clue. None.
Yeah. Well, talking about the breach stuff, um,
Hmm.
Wells Fargo, they had a some kind of breach or fake account scandal going on.
Oh yeah, well, that
Three.
was that was what, six,
Well,
two,
it's
3 years
just
ago.
now.
Wells Fargo did, where they were creating phony accounts and taking money
Yes.
from different people's accounts to fund said accounts. And but they
Well,
claimed they transferred it back.
today they announced a $3 billion. Uh, I guess it's a settlement
That's my
type of
Rocky.
thing to resolve all of the issues that came with
Oh, the,
that.
the the settlement just finally came down.
Yeah, 3 billion.
That's what the B, like boys or
Mhm.
basketballs or baubles or yeah.
So
Yeah, it
I
would be
want
nice to have just 10% of that. And look how long it took them. Look at all the money,
to.
because they
Mhm.
had to set that aside. The court says, you will pay this. And they went, okay, fine, here's your check. They put it in a separate account. We leave it for 24 hours. How much interest do you think 3 billion is going to generate in just, 72
Oh
hours?
yeah,
Enough that you, me, and about 4 other people could retire
I'm
to.
with Wells Fargo. I'm wondering if I shouldn't apply
uh,
for it.
I use US Bank. US Bank is who I've had. Well,
Yeah.
when I lived in St. Louis, I used to be the director of correspondence retrieval and distribution for Roosevelt Bank.
Hmm.
In other words, I was the mail clerk,
Mhm.
but mail clerk just doesn't sound. I liked,
Yeah. Well,
I
it's a
like that
job,
director of
right? You
correspondence
made
retrieval and
money. You were able
distribution.
to pay your bills. That's all that matters. Doesn't
Oh
matter what.
yeah, I've always been fortunate in that regards, being able to pay my bills. But when I worked there, they gave me a company account,
Mhm.
and I didn't work there after a while, and I never closed the account. And then Roosevelt got bought out by another bank that was bought out. Now, this is like back in the 90s. So, we're talking over 10 years ago. Um, Roosevelt was purchased by somebody, and then it was repurchased and purchased after about four transactions. It's now U.S. Bank.
Mm.
And it's funny because everybody has a account number
I
that's
would have
about
figured you would
yay
have.
long, and mine's about yay long.
I would figure you would have a USAA. No.
Um, I've seen bad stuff online, but I don't know
Really?
anything about them per se. I mean, with my U.S. bank, I've got my sister, who sometimes we see in the chat room, Rebel, DJ Rebel.
Right.
She has a debit card. My niece in Northern California has a debit card. My brother in Pasadena
They have
has
debit cards to your
debit
account.
card.
To your
Well, they
account.
have their
So,
name on it, but yeah, I opened a separate checking account.
can I
Right.
get a debit card?
Yeah, but what are you going to go shopping for?
I don't
It's just
know. I
because they
tried
have
about
it.
something.
I have like 7 accounts with my bank, but it's like if my niece or nephew is doing something with school, right? The band is
Right.
selling those stupid little candy bars.
Right.
Okay, they tell me I transfer $20 onto their card.
Yeah.
They use it like a regular charge card, pay for whatever.
Okay.
It's a birthday. Here's money on your card. Go do whatever. Your money. Yeah, it's so simple. Instead of putting a check in the mail, I just
All
log
gifts
on,
are,
transfer.
are accepted here.
But it just works out really, really easy.
Oh,
So let's see. But you're close enough. I can drive down and see in
that's true.
four and a
That's
half
true.
hours. They're, you know, 2,000 miles away. Takes me 31 smokes to go from here to there. It does.
Well, yeah.
Now, if you look at Google, it says 28 hours. But if you roll smokes,
They're the ones over in California.
right? I
Yeah,
do
they're
have I
going
do
back.
have a couple of cousins. Let's see, Colorado, and where's Jennifer? Not sister Jennifer, but cousin Jennifer. Is she in Nevada or is she in Washington? I'm not sure. She kind of bounces between the two. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're kind of scattered, but they're for the most part in the Colorado area. My other siblings, or not siblings, but cousins.
I've only been to Colorado one time. I went to Cripple Creek, and we went at Pikes Peak too. I forgot how old I was. I guess like 14, 15, something like that.
Right.
I know my parents have one picture of us on top of the mountain, and I look like I'm pissed off as hell.
You probably were.
I was. Oh God, I hated.
I
Yeah.
know how redheads are. So yeah, you were probably fuming about something, and being up in that high
Probably my
altitude
brother.
didn't make it any better at all.
I had one of those brothers that would, we're driving down the road, and me and him in the back seat, and he would be looking at you, going, "I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna touch you," and I'd holler at mom. Hand would go down. He'd be looking out his window, and my mom would say, "You need to quit. Leave your brother alone."
It was always your fault. If you
Always.
wouldn't have said anything,
Oh God, the nightmare. I did like Cripple Creek though. Cripple Creek was nice. Have you ever been there?
to let's see, Cripple Creek. Down on Cripple Creek,
Close.
they'll send you down. I know there's a song like that.
Like,
I was in two. Was it Cripple? No. Platte? No. I was there in Denver at the confluence where the two rivers come together.
hmm.
I forget which two off the top of my pointed little head. And I did a little panning while I was there waddling around playing. I had fun. Of course, I try and keep pans in the car. I check everywhere I go.
Yeah. I would like to. I would like to eventually at some point get like a RV and just drive, but I want to stop before I get to California.
Now, California State is beautiful. Well,
I
okay.
know, but
Okay, it was beautiful. I really haven't been, oh God, it's been 2.5, 3 years since I was home. And then I was only in, Corona, Pasadena, and, Fresno-ish area.
well, my
But
roommate had lived in, I guess, South uh, LA, I guess is what you
okay,
call
there's a whole lot of states
it.
south of LA.
Well, yeah. I know she was still. I think she was still in the L.A. County,
Okay,
but
so
she was
Santa
south
Monica,
end. She was
Redondo.
San Clemente, and
Okay, San Clemente is way down in
yes,
between San Diego and Huntington Beach. San Clemente is
right.
down where the
It's a little
nuclear
surftown,
power
kind of.
plant is. I
Yeah.
have a inherited aunt, Aunt Pauline. Whew, she was so
Hmm.
pretty. My mom's friend, well, stepmom's friend. She was real thin. I was in high school. It's like, whew, there was a MILF,
Yeah.
in my opinion, in those days. Yeah, Aunt Pauline, you were a MILF. Whew.
But yeah, she. When I show her things, pictures, videos,
Right.
the homeless situation where there are just miles and miles of tents, what we would have 50 to 100 years ago called a
It
shanty
looked like
town.
Tijuana when I was a kid, except instead of cardboard, they used,
Tent town.
ripstop tents now.
Hmm.
As a
And
matter of fact, I saw a video today of that. They were under the 405 freeway in Los Angeles
I
area.
actually I watched a video, and it was it was like a cement walking trail that went for miles. So this was originally for people to take walks, you
Hmm.
know, and literally both sides are just rows and rows, and it goes for miles. And somebody was on a bike and had a camera that videotaped the whole thing. It was a good 20-30 minute bike ride, and literally nothing but tents.
Goodness. Well, if you find that video, shoot me a copy. I'd kind of like to
I
see it.
will. I'll look and see if I can find it again. But we sat and watched that, and she was actually
Might be
pointing
along
it
one of
out
those
because
beach runs.
yeah, she said she even recognized the some stadium that's down there. Uh,
Dodger Stadium,
it
Angel
might be Dodger
Stadium.
Stadium because she looked and she said that looks like such and such stadium, and she was like, wow. She couldn't. It's been several years since she's been there, and
Right.
she was just like, that is crazy.
Now
You
let's
know?
see. Angel Stadium is off the, what freeway is that? Not the 22. What the heck? I know you drive by one in Anaheim. It might be the 605. No, it's not the 605. 55, maybe?
I'm trying to see if I
I
can.
know there's one stadium in Anaheim, and then there's Dodger Stadium, Candlestick, and then there's, what's the San Francisco one? Is that Candlestick Park in San Francisco? There's
Oh
Candlestick Park
God,
in
I know
LA. I don't
nothing.
remember. Those are the three main baseball stadiums that I can think of off the top of my head. And that's just going from, old dead gray matter between the years. Um, Angel Stadium, Dodger Stadium, and Giants, San Francisco Giants.
I was hoping I could find that. I don't know, but I know she said. I mean, this particular trail, like I said, it's a cement
Cement
trail for people to
Trail.
ride bikes and walk on, and it goes under a lot of. You could see the underpasses and whatnot. and it went
Cement
from
trail. A lot of people call those sidewalks.
this was not, there wasn't like an actual street or anything. You could tell it had a fence, an entrance. We have them here. Um,
Greenways.
they're cement
Yeah,
walking trails,
greenways.
but they're in the woods or away from like population,
Yeah,
and
greenways.
you just walk or
Right.
ride your bike. There's like a lane for bikes and a lane for people, and it was like that, and it was nothing but these tents. I mean, it was just.
It would be
But
interesting to
yet it's
check out.
okay. Let's bring the Mexicans in and let's hide them and everything else, and screw all these people that you know, veterans and people that are homeless that need help and they're just living in tents. I don't know. I don't think I'll
It's
ever be able to
frustrating. There's
comprehend.
now a lot of people that are on the street are there not by circumstance, but by
I
choice.
understand,
There are quite a few that are there by circumstance and would rather
but
not
I think
be.
there are a lot that are there that, if they were given the correct help, that would be, in a better place. So,
Could very well be. That would make sense for sure.
but we are coming close to the end of the show. Tell everybody about where they can find you at.
Well, let's see. The easiest way to get a hold of me would be with both hands. No, you can get I'm on Twitter, Leprechaun56. I spell that Lepracon. You know how it is in the South. You spell it correctly, Lepchaun. They go, Leprechaun, 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 what? So I did it phonetically. Leprechaun, Lepracon. Leprechaun 56 on Twitter. You can get me over in the MeWe's. Geez, I'm in a smattering of rooms. You can catch the Daily Hello on Jennifer Torres's That's What She Said, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And I do believe I get to play DJ next Saturday on American Rock Radio. So be sure to, yay, log in to Mojo 50, either on Spreaker, iHeart, or any of the other platforms, and catch me there next Saturday for sure.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
mad I missed the first half today. I got so lost in time, and oh no!
Poor
Oh no!
thing. You
Yeah,
missed the Beatles. I played the Beatles in the first couple of sets. I did them
maybe.
and the Monkees in one set.
Does he
Lady
upload
Madonna
Saturdays?
and
I know
Last
he
Train to
uploads.
Clarksville.
Does he upload Saturday? I know he doesn't upload or when he was doing the Sunday, I know he wasn't uploading. He does upload the
Right.
Saturday.
Saturdays are uploaded.
Okay, then I'll get to go back and listen.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And I want to thank you for
Everybody,
having me on Ain't You a Peach tonight. I've really, really enjoyed
hey, I
myself.
always
Thank you.
enjoy having you on. It's fun, you know. But y'all know where
Anytime.
y'all can find me, Facebook and YouTube and on Spreaker and MeWe. And we'll see y'all next Saturday